silence, breaking the ruts. No sugarcoating, no softening the blow. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. Voices echoing darkness, where honesty dwells. Aaron drops knowledge, casting his spells. Feelings are fading, lost in the fray. If you can't handle it, step out of the way. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. It's a bitter pill, but he's done being nice. Had to say it, no holding back. Words like fire, igniting the track. Listen or leave, it's your call tonight. Aaron's the storm, he's ready to fight. So brace yourself tight, prepare for the quake. Aaron had to say it, the truth won't break. Yeah, the truth won't break.
I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. Yeah, I had to say, or else it would just go unsaid. If you didn't get it from me, you'd hear it from some newsman instead. I may cuss and yell, but I know what I say is right. You know what, I will fucking yell, but I know what I say is right. So long as the world be fucking shit up, I'ma yell into this mic. Left or right, don't matter, I will call you on your shit. I said left or right, don't fucking matter, I will call you on your shit. If you decide that fucking up, the gorilla's gonna deal with it. Yeah, I had to say it, or else it will go unsaid. Yeah, I had to fucking say it, or else it will just go unsaid. If you didn't hear it yelled at the top of my lungs, you got fed a crock of shit instead.
The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off.
It's Aaron, your favorite unfiltered mess. Spitting takes so raw, they'll make your grandma stress. Is this, that, and the other? Life, politics, the whole damn scene. Whatever crosses my mind, or whatever I saw on my screen. Ooh, movies to munchies, games to the grind. Interviews flowing, this is starting to sound like a date, ain't it? Dinner, drink, sports, wait, you buying? If not, tough luck, my opinion's still flying. No script, no filter, just pure chaos bliss. I might offend your auntie or your therapist. Society's clown show, yeah, I'm ringing the bell. If it's stupid, it's sacred, well, it had to be said, what the hell? Buckle up, buttercup, the mic's getting reckless. I had to say it. Now, pass the tissue for the trigger.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Iceman, Jason, Javier, Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, to the guys at the Weathered Soul Media Group, to Kate, the Duchess of New Jersey, to Boomer Bob, to Billy G, to Josh from New Hampshire, to Bill and Dana of Clockham Craft Coffee, and to our most recent addition, Lisa. Thank you guys for your continued support. It means the world to me, yada, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Blah, blah, blah. You guys are awesome. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. It's just the truth. You're better than other people. You're better looking. You're more fun to be around. You're more attractive. Yeah, so if you would like to be better looking than other people, be more attractive, and be more fun to be around, consider going over to IHadToSayItPodcast.com, clicking on the links to give me money and buy me shit. Then you'll be awesome. That's all. So, anyway, it's been a week since the last time I sat down to do this. Last stream was pretty empty. It is what it is. I don't take it personally. Like I said, I could be talking into the void. Nobody could download these episodes. I wouldn't care. I'd still be doing it because I do it for me. The fact that you guys seem to enjoy it is just icing on the brownie. So, nope, there's Lisa in the chat. Hi, Lisa. Anyway, so... yeah, where to start? I mean, it's been another week. It's been stupid. It's a case of, in particular, the big elephant in the fucking room is the Supreme Court has been issuing a bunch of rulings between yesterday and today because they're getting ready to go on their summer break, which, excuse me, means there's a bunch of, they're much like the rest of DC are they've worked there 3 days for the last 6 months, so it's time for them to hang it up. They're pretty much stupid and utterly useless, and the whole system, I feel like it's so broken. And there were a couple of decisions handed down that definitely lend themselves to the idea that the system is fucking broken. It's fucked. The American experiment may be, reaching a stage where we're not going to be able to vote our way out of this, folks. And, I'm not saying that like, oh boy, I'm excited, here comes this shit. I'm saying it like, I feel like things are going to get worse. And I don't think we're necessarily going to be given an option when it comes to certain things. And some of that is due to the current, bunch of stupidity that came out of the U.S. Supreme Court. And pretty much every time something particularly egregiously fucking retarded was issued by these people, it was because Amy Coney Barrett and my brain not braining, and Roberts voted with the three fucking leftist retards that are on the Supreme Court. And I understand that people are saying, I said ACB was a bad fucking appointment from the day she got nominated. I do not, she has done nothing in her tenure on the Supreme Court to make me recant that statement. She's a fucking twat. She's an idiot. She votes with the liberals as much as she votes with the conservatives, if not more. It's a case of, Shit, I'm taking these off. Sorry. It's a case of the utter stupidity coming out of these motherfuckers, and it's like she feels like she has to play by the rules when the three leftist retards are driven purely by ideological lockstep. They don't actually bother to read or interpret the Constitution in any way, shape, or form. All you can do is look at particularly KJB, who is an absolute drooling fucking retard. The fact that she ever made it into the halls of justice to begin with is telling of how fucking broken the system is. And the fact that she made it to the Supreme Court when she is an absolute fucking retard just tells you the system is fucked. But the fact that this dumb bitch could actually vote along with those other idiot twats on some of these cases is, I mean, it's fundamentally disgusting to me. She's some dumb bitch she's the kind of person that's going to be like, well, you know, we have to play according to the rules, while she's getting fucked in the ass by the person who doesn't care about the rules. You know, she's a fucking retard. I can't stand her. And there's a reason why I'm getting this. I mean, there were a couple of wins for people that are more right-leaning or even sane in a couple cases. One of which being they did vote to say and uphold that that they're not going to allow transgender people, like they're not going to overturn state bans on transgender individuals participating in women and girls sports, upholding Title IX, and actually in a win for anybody who acknowledges sanity and that women and men are biologically different. And it doesn't matter how you feel. If you feel like you're a girl but you have a dick and balls, you are biologically different on a fundamental level, and no amount of how you feel about it's going to change that. And on a physical playing field, you have an advantage, and no matter how you feel about it, it's not going to change that. I mean, yes, you may be an utter failure when it comes to competing against other men, but biologically, you still have an advantage over women. So they did uphold the state's right to ban individuals from competing in girls' sports when they were born physically, biologically male. Because biological reality is a fucking thing, no matter how bad you feel about it. So that was a good one. And then they upheld that, and this one is, I mean, the chirping retards out there are already, oh, well, that just means when the, I'm getting ahead of myself. They upheld the fact that the president has the right to fire people that are parts of the executive branch, including the firing of Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve, because basically she was trying to say, you can't fire me because I'm, you know, the Federal Reserve is its own entity and we don't answer to the president and blah, 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 blah. And a bunch of retards are out there chirping that, oh, well, you know, it has to exist as its own separate entity, so it can't be influenced by one president influencing the... First off, the Fed shouldn't fucking exist to begin with. And second off, there's not a fourth branch of government. They are not outside the government. They are part of the executive branch, whether you fucking like it or not. So we got all these yammering retards like, well, when the Democrats take control, they're just going to start firing everybody and replace them with, you know, everybody in the executive branch is going to be fired and replaced by fucking Democrats. I hate to break this to you fucking retards, but the vast majority of the bureaucratic parasites in DC and various branches of the executive branch, various departments of the executive branch, they are by and wide Democrats. They are leftists. They are liberals, because they have inundated this entire system. They thrive being useless government bureaucrats. It plays to their fucking strengths of being spineless, fucking ideologically driven, weak-willed, weak-fleshed fucking sacks of shit that parasite off of the fucking population. So it's not an issue of, well, when that means when we get a Democrat back in the White House, that they're going to fire all the Republicans. They're going to have to fire like 8 fucking people at this point, okay? It's not this massive thing that people are trying to paint it out to be like, oh, this is going to have third-order repercussions. No, it's not. It said he can fire a bitch who says she's not doing her job and she's not leaving, and he can't make her. That's what it said. The head of the executive branch has a right to fire people within the executive branch for not doing their fucking jobs, or not just because he doesn't want them there, because he's the head of the fucking executive branch. That's fucking reality. If the shoe was on the other foot and it was some libtard in there trying to fire a conservative, every screeching, yammering asshole who's trying to downplay this thing as a bad thing would be so for it. And so, I can't believe they're the executive. I mean, the same shit they will, get offended by because it's Orange Jesus. They will fucking be screeching if it's one of their guys. So that was a good one. Though I was actually really waiting to hear if they were going to take up anything about the firearm issues, but they haven't, or at least nothing that I've heard. I'm looking at the recent decisions on the SupremeCourt.gov website here, and there's nothing about any of the guns. So, hopefully we'll see that before, the end of the year at least. Maybe I can finally get the fuck Muppet in this state to have his illegal rights infringing bullshit overturned so I can go back to having the most commonly owned firearms in the country available to me as a U.S. citizen with no criminal record and, well, at least none yet. I mean, the fuck Muppet has his way. Pretty much everything I believe in is going to be criminalized before too fucking long, so I pray to God that fat fuck doesn't get elected to a third term. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to go. That's a whole nother conversation then. But okay, then there's a couple other things that I feel like the Supreme Court really fucked up on here, and we're going to talk about that too. So, first one they did, they held that the Federal Election Campaign Act's restrictions on political party spending on a campaign activity in coordination with candidates is a violation of the First Amendment, as in they can't restrict how much money people are going to spend on a certain candidate. And the only reason, the only reason the left bitches about those particular things is because they never mention when it's being done for their side. They're not bitching about Soros. They're not saying Soros should give up his money to feed the homeless like they're doing with Elon. They only say that against rich people that are supporting the right. So without even trying, you could look at any social media platform right now and fucking Bernie and AOC and that fucking Nazi guy that's running in Maine, and they're all, oh my god, this is now billionaires are going to be able to buy the elections, as if they're not all funded by the Soros family and the fucking money that he got from USAID that they funneled back into the Democratic Party. So they can all take a flying fuck as far as I'm concerned. They're hypocritical sacks of shit, and anybody who thinks differently is fucking retarded. But yeah, this is still not super thrilled with that one. But then we're going to come to the one that's really got me cheesed off, the one that's really, really fucking... Well, there's a couple that are really pissing me off. But like I said, the big one, the thing that pisses me off is the case of Watson versus Republican National Committee, basically saying that they upheld that states can continue counting ballots after fucking election day and federal elections as long as they're postmarked for the day of the election. Now, basically, that's what happened. And that is like ACB, as I said, who voted with the leftist loony trio and said, you know what? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with how California's elections work, because that's, fundamentally the level you have to look at. And this is where I'm talking about where this dumb cunt said, well, you have to play by the rules and we're interpreting the Constitution. And according to the Constitution, the states handle how they're setting up their elections. Yes, but when you have the largest deep blue states in the fucking country all doing this same horseshit where they count votes and they miraculously find votes at 3 o'clock in the morning on election day to make sure they've got enough that their fucking candidates win, when it always works in favor of one fucking side, it's fucking crooked. And if you don't acknowledge that, you're either a fucking retard or you're involved. So this dumb cunt fucking is... This is going to be one of those things that lead to the downfall of the fucking nation if it's not adjusted on a state level. If they don't pass the fucking SAVE Act or something similar, they're cooked. The Republicans are going to lose their asses because the Democrats are going to take every lesson they learned in the last election. The people that are frustrated that are in the middle of the road that voted a Republican last term, and the fact that the Republicans have accomplished exactly dick in the last 2 years where they had majorities and they haven't passed a fucking thing that the people want. They haven't done anything to back Orange Jesus, and love him or hate him or indifferent. Like if you're like me and you find him amusing at best, and agree with some of the shit he's doing, and you only voted for him because he's better than that dumb cunt that the fucking left ran. Still, he had some platform ideas that I agreed with. He had some things that he ran on that I approved of. Nothing's gotten done because the fucking congressional Republicans are fucking useless, and they're actively working to hand the fucking reins back to the left. And if that happens, That's all she wrote, because they are going to do everything the Republicans don't have the will or the spine to fucking do. They're going to nuke the zombie filibuster, which the Republicans refuse to do. They refuse to force the talking filibuster, which none of these leftist clowns would actually be able to do for more than a couple hours, and they would wind up caving. And their whole argument is, oh, well, people that are forced into a talking filibuster rarely get the results they want. Yeah, that's the fucking point. This whole, we're going to filibuster, so nobody actually has to do anything about the filibuster. They're just going to declare filibuster, much like, Michael Scott in The Office declaring fucking, hate crimes because he hates it, and it's fucking retarded. These dumb motherfuckers are, it's like they're not even controlled opposition. They're complacent at best. And it's infuriating to me. The fact that they said, we're not going to do anything on a federal fucking level to try and secure these elections, and Congress is trying to pass no laws to secure these elections, and they're saying, well, Donald Trump can't do it on his own through executive order. Now, I understand the logic behind the ruling of saying Donald Trump can't change a law via executive order, because he can't. And that's why we've been constantly saying these do-nothing Republicans in Congress and in the Senate are fucking useless, because they have not codified a single thing that he's put into place. So literally, as soon as he's out of office, if they don't elect another Republican president, all of that shit goes away instantly. And the pushback is going to be so much more brutal, because the left has no problems marching in lockstep to force their ideology through. So they're going to nuke the filibuster. They're going to come in. They're going to try and stack the Supreme Court. They're going to try and add justices. They're going to try and add Democratic states by adding fucking Puerto Rico as a state, and excuse me, and who knows what other commonwealth they're going to try and statify. But we're going to wind up with a massive imbalance. It's going to fuck the country, and it's being done by a bunch of globalist fucking retards, because they're fucking retards, and the powers that be are just, if not actively encouraging it, standing passively by and watching it fucking happen. So it's a fucking joke. That's why I don't think this is not a thing we're going to be able to vote our way out of. I really don't believe that at this point. It's, a republic if you can hold on to it. And I feel like it's slipping through our fucking fingers. And I hate the fact that I'm seeing it happen in my lifetime. But anyway, so there was that they said that, yes, the states that are fucking extremely questionable and always go blue for some fucking reason can keep right on doing what they were fucking always been doing. And we can't do anything about it, because that's, the states, it's the state's responsibility to handle managing those elections, because when those strictures were put in place, the founding fathers didn't have the idea that they were going to use late mail-in ballots and all this other shit to cheat, because at the time there was a certain degree of, accountability existed. People took responsibility. People viewed voting and being involved in the process as a responsibility that they had as free men. And that is all gone. That ethic, that moral is, collapsed. And I'm sure they never envisioned that being the case. Although I think Ben Franklin probably did, because like I said, he said it's a republic if you can keep it. And I think he knew exactly what was coming. And, he was a student of history. He watched how many times the retards came out of the woodwork every time a civilization decided to collapse. So anyway, I'm sure he never would have envisioned it going to a bunch of commies, but we'll get to that eventually. So the other thing that I have an issue with, that literally, and this is the one again where ACB never fails to fucking disappoint. This dumb cunt, and I'm not surprised she did this, but again, because, we're taking literally the most, they're saying it's the birthright citizenship stands because President Trump doesn't have the right to affect that through executive order. And so, since it's in the Constitution, it's an amendment, and yada, yada, yada. The fact that it has fuck all to do with how the original authors intended it, including it's floating around plenty of places out there. It's articles written that explicitly state, and it's even in the wording of it, that it's not intended for people that are not, citizens that are subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It's phrasing that it was intended to give freed slaves rights. That's what all it was for. It was never meant to say, bring your stupid illegal ass into this country illegally, have a fucking kid here, that kid gets citizenship, and then that either means you can't be kicked out of the country because your minor child is a fucking citizen, and separating you from your child would be unrighteous, but we can deport you, but we can't deport the kid because they're a citizen, hence the term fucking anchor baby, because that's how you get your illegal ass stuck here, living off the fucking system, sucking at the teat of the fucking public aid. And it's utterly fucking retarded that people wouldn't try and interpret this because, oh, well, that's the plain language and that's what it says. Anyone born here is a U.S. citizen. It was never intended to be an anchor baby thing. It was never intended that Chinese nationals could fly to fucking Guam and stay there on vacation until they squirted out a kid so that child would be born and have the rights of a U.S. citizen, have citizenship, have access to a U.S. passport, be able to run for president someday, and then be taken back to fucking China and raised by their parents to hate the United States and everything it stands for. The founding fathers never envisioned that being the case of what was going to fucking happen. The idea, and it's actually a huge thing now because Obama changed the fucking time that a Chinese national could be in country on a visa. So birthing tourism became a huge fucking market in Guam. And they're bringing Chinese knocked up broads into fucking Guam, squirting out kids. Ta-da, your kid's a U.S. citizen. Back to fucking communist China to learn how to be a fucking American-hating piece of shit. And then they can come over here and they can run for president. They can run for office. They can hold public office. They can be cops. They can be lawyers. They can be whatever they want. And they can do it not speaking a lick of English because based on a technicality, they are fucking American citizens and it's fucking retarded. It's literally a case of these dumb motherfuckers are handing the keys to the country over to people that want to see it destroyed, and it's fucking pathetic. It's just it infuriates me in so many fucking ways, in so many. I hate it. And then you get like leftist retards. Like there's a representative out of fucking Illinois. Her name escapes me at the moment. She's a retarded cunt. She said at one point publicly that she would consider herself a Guatemalan first and an American second. She's in Congress. She has no fucking business being there. She's an un-American piece of shit. This judgment was handed down. She immediately takes to social media talking about she's a proud anchor baby and she's an American, and even though she said her first loyalty is not to this nation and she has no business being here, that cunt should be deported along with her fucking parents. And it's fucking infuriating. So anyway, that's my take on the Supreme Court stuff. Now, one thing that I will say, and Clarence Thomas wrote the dissent on the naturalized children being born in the citizen, your anchor baby case. He wrote the dissenting opinion on it. Clarence Thomas usually, when he writes a dissenting opinion on any case they take, it's usually fairly abbreviated, a page or two. It highlights the points, his stances, his interpretation of something, why he disagrees with the judgment, and it's usually pretty succinct, pretty. It's always well thought out, well written. Clarence Thomas is a brilliant man. He's. The left hates him, even though he's, a black man that built him, a self-made black man that made it to the Supreme Court. But yeah, he's not the right kind of black, so he don't count. But he felt the need to write the dissenting opinion on the birthright citizenship stuff. It was 91 fucking pages. I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure I will. I'm sure it's an amazing assessment of why this is fucking retarded and how it's going to doom the fucking country, because that's probably the Cliff Notes version of it. Like I said, I haven't read it yet. It's 91 fucking pages. Do you know how worked up this man had to be over this hearing to sit down and write a 91 page dissenting opinion on the fucking findings of the Supreme Court? And again, like I said, I blame ACB entirely because she's a fucking retarded cunt. The three dumb bitches that are on the court right now, the liberal ones, I expect nothing from them. They are retarded. They are stupid. They are ideologically driven. They have no qualms about not fulfilling the duty that the oath they took of interpreting the Constitution to decide whether laws are repugnant to it or not. They are completely driven by ideology. They are completely driven by pushing the left's agenda. They are pieces of shit. They are despicable human beings. I fucking hate them all. And it's not just because I don't agree with them politically. It's because they actively say things that will make you shake your head and go, how the fuck did you ever pass the bar? How did you become a lawyer? How did you become a judge? You're a fucking idiot. You are evidence that the system is broken. And the fact that you're in the highest court in the land saying some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard come out of a human being's fucking mouth is a prime example of how the system is fucked. It's ridiculous. And it's, you know, there's not showing any signs of getting any better. And there are actually some other, you know, little things that have been going on recently that show that the world's not getting any fucking smarter. And I mean, like New York State is fucking lost. New York City is double fried. You know, Mandami is doing his communist bullshit. It's literally going exactly how every critic of his entire campaign said it was going to go. Promised all kinds of free shit, didn't deliver any of it. Is actively driving everyone with the means to leave out of the fucking city of New York. Had to go to Mama Hochul to get bailed out because he couldn't provide any of the shit he promised on his campaigns because there's no fucking money to pay for it because he's driving everyone with the means out of fucking city. So, and you know, they're instituting a rent freeze, which sounds wonderful if you're a fiscally illiterate fucking mouth breathing retard who doesn't understand how the real fucking world works. And because you are a worthless sack of shit who's a non-contributing piece of fuck who chooses to live a lifestyle you probably can't afford in a city you have no business being in because you're a self-important fuckwaffle who seems to think your fucking liberal arts degree is somehow worth money to anybody other than you and the fucking mouth-breathing commie retards who educated you. And I'm saying educated with a real heavy air quote around it because you're not educated. You're indoctrinated. You're a fucking idiot. And you think that, oh, well, you know, it's these greedy landlords getting rich off of my hard-earned money and I should basically own part of the building because I'm paying their mortgage. No, you dumb cunt, because you couldn't get the loan to get it because you're a worthless sack of fuck. You don't make enough income to offset the expenses of buying property. That's why you don't have anything, because you are not a useful contributing productive member of society. You're a whining entitled fucking parasite who seems to think that it's not fair that they have to, you know, do things to survive. The same fucking retards that are out there saying everything that they want is a right and everything they don't want is a fucking horrible crime against humanity is utterly fucking retarded. It's it bothers me. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it gets to me every time I start thinking about it, because at the end of the day, the fact that there are educational institutes out there, people are going into debt that they will never get out of, that they expect other people to pay for them. That's all these whiny cunts bitching about how, oh, I need student loan forgiveness. No, you needed to make better choices in your fucking life, but you didn't. And these are called consequences. Welcome to fucking reality, sugar tits. But, oh no, it's not fair that I had to pay for my useless degree that I can't actually earn a living with, but it's what I wanted to study. It's what I wanted to be, and it's my truest self. And the fact that being my truest self is utterly fucking worthless to everybody else on the goddamn planet shouldn't be a deciding factor in whether or not I can live the life that I have to fucking, you know, that I feel I deserve, because I deserve things. And if I want these things, those are a right. That's a human right. Shelter is a human right. Food is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. Well, I hate to break it to you, you retarded commie fucks, but no, none of those things are rights. Having the access to them is a right, I suppose. You have a right to go out and try and get those things. Nobody should be able to stop you from trying to obtain them. However, nobody is obligated to support your shitty life choices and subsequently subsidize your poor lifestyle by paying for those things for you. Nothing that requires the labor of another person is a fucking right. Therefore, your healthcare is not a right because you can't provide it for your fucking self. You can't get your own drugs. You can't get your own medical treatment. You can't set your own splints. You can't tell it if something's wrong with you or not. You can't run an MRI. You can't run an ultrasound. You can't do any of these fucking things. Therefore, you have to pay someone who possesses those skills. This is a basic reality 101. Now, you could say, well, food, I have a right to have the food I want and to be able to eat. And food is a human right. You can't tell me food's not a human right. Well, again, no, it's fucking not, because unless you're out there growing and producing your own food, which is going to cost time and money and resources and requires a certain degree of skill, because you can't just magically go out there and obtain food. I mean, we're not in a hunter-gatherer society, so you can't just go out and take what you need. So no, it's not a fucking right. Someone has to grow it. Someone has to raise it. Someone has to process it. Someone has to make it. And in a lot of cases, the motherfuckers who are complaining about this shit, someone else has to cook it for them. Someone has to bring it to them because they're too fucking lazy to leave their fucking studio apartment that they live in with 4 other purple-haired useless sacks of fuck, because none of them earn enough to actually support themselves, and they have to live in this fucking cluster like a goddamn pile of hamsters who none of them seem to see the irony of they can't live within their means. But since they can't live within their means, living within their means should be a right, and someone else should subsidize their fucking failure. And it's absolutely infuriating to me. So you get these retarded motherfuckers who all of these fucking empty promises from the commies sound really good, because not a single goddamn one of them has ever cracked a fucking history book. And the ones that do think they know history pick it very selectively so they can try and use it to win arguments. But because they actually have the intellectual depth of a fucking 3-year-old, and not a smart 3-year-old either. I mean, like a 3-year-old that runs into a fucking screen door every time it's open. It's a case of these motherfuckers, when you present valid arguments against their fucking case, against their point, against what they want to feel like, they will start screaming and yammering and chirping and calling you names that they don't actually understand, because they'll start calling you a fascist or a bigot or a phobe or whatever else, whatever line they've decided is the fucking appropriate abuse to heap upon people who don't march in lockstep with their fucking brain dead, mouth breathing, fucking window licking, parasite lifestyle having ideologies, because they're a bunch of weak skinned, weak willed, weak minded, weak fucks. It's the people that I keep saying are, they're probably born from pre-cum. They are fundamentally lacking in a lot of ways. Their parents failed them. The system failed them. Their fails subsequently. But it has, predictable second and third order consequences. Despite Mondami's utter failure as the fucking first socialist mayor of New York City, they now in the Democratic primaries in New York State have all the Democratic primaries went to socialist or flat out communist candidates, which just goes to show these retarded motherfuckers are doubling down on a broken system that doesn't fucking work. And I really hope that it gets to be a case of, can we just wall off the whole fucking place at this point? I would be okay with that. Then we've got like fucking AOC going out there running her fucking vapid head, this fucking empty-headed actress who's literally just a puppet for a bunch of fucking commie handlers, who's out there. And, as a good friend of mine has said on different occasions when we're talking politics, when it comes to political minds, AOC's got great tits. And it's simplistic, it's crass, it's crude, but it very much highlights the case. She is not a astounding political mind. She's a fucking mouthpiece. She's a yammering puppet. She's an actress that was found in a cattle call to fucking get her position. Excuse me. I'm very thirsty today for some reason. It's probably the beat is sneaking back up on me. But anyway, so yeah, so we got AOC out here, and she's yammering her, running her fucking yap about, and her and Bernie are out there again, oh my God, they're saying that there's no caps. Elon's going to buy all the fucking elections. No, what about Soros? Oh, who? No, that's different. It's different when our side gets some multi-billionaire guy to fucking fund our bullshit, particularly because he's probably using tax dollars he got through his various NGOs from the USAID in the first place. But it's very telling that the people that complain about this shit. I've used this analogy before. You always get the loudest noise from the emptiest can, right? Like if you get a can full of sand and you shake it around, it's pretty muffled. If you get a can and it's empty and you put one fucking pebble in it, it makes a lot of goddamn racket. Well, that's how these people's fucking thoughts are. They have one fucking thought and it rattles around in their empty goddamn heads, and then it makes a lot of fucking noise, but it doesn't actually, carry any real fucking weight because it's one fucking pebble in a giant fucking empty can. So, yeah, these people are fucking potatoes. I hate them all. They suck. They should be buried buried up to their eyeballs in shit. I can't stand the stupidity out of these motherfuckers. And again, they've never cracked a fucking textbook that was, remotely challenging. They only bought the indoctrinating horse shit that their college professors, what their liberal arts degrees told them. They, suck at the academia tit, and then they get out in the real world and realize that academia doesn't actually apply. But it's not that they were fucking deceived because they're college educated and they must be smarter than us. It's not that they were deceived. It's that the real world's just not fucking fair. It's not right. Elon's got all this money and he's not helping the world. He's not doing all the good shit he could be doing. And then you get these fucking retards out here, saying things like, oh, well, USAID is killing all of these people. And that's Elon's fault. Elon's responsible for all these deaths. Well, no. And like anybody who tries to say that shit's always talking about some third world shithole that doesn't need to be receiving American tax dollars. They're their own countries. They can solve their own fucking problems. We are not the world's nanny. We should not be the world's nanny. We should not be sending our money to anywhere that doesn't end in states of America. And honestly, they shouldn't be taking our money for shit here, too. I mean, I believe in voluntarism. I believe if you want to give your money to something, that's your right. I don't believe in doing anything at the barrel of a gun is fucking free choice. Taxation is theft, all that good shit. It's not false just because a lot of people that I don't necessarily ideologically agree with rally behind that banner. There's a lot of people out there who, that's one of the bitches about being more centrist is I can't stand people on both sides. It just depends on which degree of fucking wacky you're going to be. I feel like most of us probably actually fall somewhere in the middle, and we're the ones getting fucked by both sides. It's an interesting time to be alive. But yeah, so that happened too. They're back to yammering about how Elon's killing people because of USAID being shut down. Meanwhile, like none of the Doge cuts got codified. None of the stuff is a case where it's like, anything of any real significance or import. Everything has been done through fucking a case of, everything that was done through executive order is going to, like I said, it's going to be shit canned the next time you get a leftist asshole in the White House. The next time the leftist assholes get control of Congress, they're going to fuck this country so goddamn hard. None of us will be able to walk straight. It's a brutal case of it's just I don't know. I'm frustrated with the whole situation. The fact of the amount of stupid motherfuckers in this country that are just not only complicit but actually rallying around this idea that they're going to destroy this country because it's been so unfair to them. And meanwhile, they're living in the only place in the world where you could say something like that about the government and not wind up getting fucking thrown in prison. It's fucking retarded. I hate them all. Every American hating piece of shit in this country needs to get the fuck out. It's the older I get, the farther things go towards the fucking crazy end on both ends of the stick. The more I just want to see everybody shut the fuck up and go the fuck away. I'm at the point I would love to get some land and build a compound on the middle of nowhere and just fucking disappear. But, it's, we'll see. It doesn't look like it's in the cards anytime soon. I'm still poor. I'm still fucking, working myself to death to try and fucking break even. It is what it is, them's the breaks, as they say. And who knows, maybe something else will come along. Maybe something phenomenal will happen. Maybe my company will take off and I'll start making enough money where I don't have to answer to somebody else. And then I can just go back to being the full-blown asshole that I've always been. We'll see how that plays out. We don't know what's in the cards. Nobody knows what's in the future. Nobody knows what's in the past. Nobody knows anything. It's all a fucking simulation. We're all just fucking being controlled and pushed along. Who the fuck knows? Pick your poison. Choose your facts. It's insane. The world's, like I said, it's falling apart. There's other dumb shit going on. Little stuff. I've been very busy between work and my job and my side job and my business that I'm trying to get off the fucking ground and trying to get all that stuff ready because I have to start fulfilling orders in fucking a month. And there's still a lot of little things that got to get tweaked out. It's just been, I've been trying to ignore the chat because I'm trying to stay on task here, and I just looked up, and Cody wants to know when our board meeting is. Yes, that's right. Cody is my official partner. I wanted him to be able to feel very special about things, so he's literally the only other person that has any ownership in this company. He is a partial owner. He's an investor now. He's a good dude. We'll figure something out. We'll set up a Zoom call one of these days here pretty soon. Anyway, yeah, I got sidetracked. Well, I feel like that's all I got. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, you've got these fucking people that are so out of touch with reality, that are, you've got like all these different people that are still bit pissed off about the Carmelo Anthony thing. The kid fucking is a murderer. That's the long and the short of it. He killed somebody else, completely unnecessary, completely overblown bullshit, thinking he's going to get away with it because, he can't be racist against white people and he's black and blah, blah, blah. Whatever fucking stupid shit was flowing through his head. As I've said before, his parents failed him. They raised a bitch. He's a bitch. His dad's a bitch. His mom's a fucking cunt. They're all fucking grifters. They're all pieces of shit. And, he's going to get what he's deserved. He's going to get passed around like currency. You got these dumb motherfuckers, like the free Carmelo motherfuckers that are out there. Oh, well, he's going to get out on parole, or he's going to get out on probation while they're doing the appeal. That's not how appeals work. And you'd think the motherfuckers that are always constantly complaining about how unfair the justice system is would at least have enough working knowledge to understand that's not how an appeal works. An appeal means you're going to go and say, we don't think. All it does is reopen to sentencing unless they can prove there was some egregious harm involved in some massively mishandled case. And there wasn't. At the end of the day, there wasn't. The motherfucker got off light as far as I'm concerned. And an appeal basically just opens up to where they could get a different judge who's going to go, you know what, 35 years, no, he was eligible for up to 99 years in prison. There could be a judge that goes, you know what, you're going to get 60 because you wasted my fucking time. And it's in Texas. It might fucking happen. Texas still has some stones at least. But anyway, so yeah, we've got those retards. And every time, it's hard to not like black pill about these things. It's not hard to not start getting just completely depressed when you see dumb shit like the fucking Supreme Court rulings, or people actively doing things that are going to doom this fucking country, and people that are fighting to see this country wind up in fucking flames because their fucking failures as a human obviously are the fault of the system, not their own shortcomings, because nobody takes accountability or responsibility for any fucking thing anymore. And that's why these worthless motherfuckers hate the system, because it's a system that's designed to reward competence, skill, and effort. And these motherfuckers don't want to put in any of that because that's hard. So they don't, because they're worthless pieces of shit. And that's obviously not fair. So we need to burn the system down. That's why you get so many fucking retards that want to say, hey, you know what? Everybody should have what they need and what they want because that's what's fair. Oh, no, it's not fair that Elon's got a net worth of $1 trillion because I have nothing because I'm a worthless, non-contributing sack of shit. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I'm convinced these retards think he's just got that money laying around. Like he's got a vault like fucking Scrooge McDuck. And he's out there skiing down piles of gold on his fucking day off. But no, that's not how money works. That's not how wealth works. And these fucking incompetent sacks of shit who will never have anything because they don't have any kind of brain or worth, they don't understand that. They're fucking stupid. They get mad at what they're told to get mad at. They just yammer on like fucking vapid, rattling, empty cunts. I hate them all. They're fucking. It's just. Yeah. I'm talking in circles at this point. They're stupid. They suck. I keep coming back to it. If you're a communist, you're fucking retarded. That either means you have chosen to willfully ignore history, or you just are a lazy, entitled sack of shit, and you're petty and jealous and fucking worthless, just like every other fucking communist on the fucking planet. Communism was an ideology created by a lazy, jealous, petty motherfucker named Karl Marx, who, if you look at it, like his own father was like, I raised you better than this. You're a whiny little bitch. He insisted upon living a quality lifestyle that he did nothing to deserve by being a parasite that leached off of his friends till the day he fucking died, and then insisted on not being buried in the pauper cemetery where he fucking belonged. He's a worthless sack of shit. And anybody who looks up to this clown or idealizes him or thinks he had it all figured out is fucking retarded. You're subhuman. You're a fucking idiot. I hate you. I hope you die in a fucking horribly painful way. I hope you fall on a pointy stick and it goes square up your ass. And not like in a fun way. I mean like up your ass, like it's pointy and it goes into your intestines and you bleed out and you get sepsis and you die painfully. Yeah. Being that dumb should hurt. Anyway, that's about all I got, I think, for right now. So I'm going to, again, poorly prepared. It's the end of the month. I was very busy at work today. I've been very busy at work for the last week or so. I'm going to try and find a recipe in this book that I should have had ready before I started live streaming, but since I don't, and while I'm thumbing through this book, I will throw it open to the chat. If anybody has anything they want me to speak about, I will now speak up. You know, speak now or forever hold your peace, I guess. No, no, no. 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 I already did that one. Already did that one. No. Already did that one. Already did that one. Already did that one. Wow, this is riveting podcasting, I tell you what. This is why I never used to live stream, because when I had to stop and think of something, I could, you know, edit it out and then you guys wouldn't have to deal with it. But I do appreciate you guys that actually show up and listen to the live stream. I feel like it's mostly been Cody and Shauna. I did see JD popped in on X there, but I don't know if he's still there or not, because for whatever reason, the plugin that's supposed to tell me the information about the stream says 0 people viewing right now. No, JD, I do not have a chitlins recipe in there. I fucking can't stand those nasty motherfucking things. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like them. I chitlins, menudo, however you want to look at it. Ugh, no, it doesn't do anything for me. And I've had people tell me it's just because I've never had them made right. I think it's actually because my stepdad used to cook menudo when he knew I was hungover because the smell made me nauseous. And, yeah, so but yeah, I do not have one. So I'm sure I could get one. I've got plenty of Southern family members I could call up and get one in a pinch. Yes, I see you're there, JD. I appreciate you, brother. Anyway, so I think we're going to do my recipe for creamy chicken and wild rice soup. Sounds like a good one as I'm thumbing through this thing. So anyway, for this recipe, you're going to take 1 pound of pulled chicken meat. Now, if you want to do this, like, I'm going to kind of digress here for a minute. One of those things, and I've seen it on a lot of like Instagram reels, TikTok videos, YouTube, Facebook things, all the place. There's a lot of people, and they're always saying, if you really want to, stretch your dollars and blah, 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 go buy a fucking rotisserie chicken from Costco or from Walmart or wherever. That's actually really solid advice. It's not to people like me, it's not some earth shattering revelation, but as I've discussed in the past, modern young people in particular, young adults, were not taught to cook. They were not taught to do these things. That's the kind of shit that I learned from my grandmother when I was a kid, except for we didn't buy rotisserie chickens. We bought cooked chickens. But when you have people who don't, or we bought raw chickens and then we cooked them and then we would pull them apart. But yeah, if you get a rotisserie chicken, you pull all the meat off the bones, you take the bones, you cover them in water, you simmer them for a couple hours, you get a good chicken stock. It's a great way to do things. And then you use the chicken meat. Now that's what for this, you can get for this recipe, you only need about a half of a rotisserie chicken because they're usually around 3 pounds, which gives you about 2.5 pounds of meat once you pull it. And then a pound of carcass that you can boil and make stock out of, which the stock will come in handy if you do that. But anyway, you don't have to do that for this recipe because that's not how it's written, but that's what I would recommend doing. Go get a rotisserie chicken, eat part of it for dinner one day, and then use the rest to make things. And so we get a pound of diced chicken meat, pulled chicken meat, however you want to do it. 2 carrots sliced thinly. Now, usually when I'm doing things and I say slice thinly, I'm mechanically slicing them. I would, for anybody who's interested in doing things and trying to up your kitchen game a little bit, if you're not somebody that's been in the food service business for 30 fucking years. Get a mandolin. They're now the old school ones are dangerous. They'll take a chunk of your finger off at some point. It's fucking inevitable. Everybody I know that's ever used a classical European style mandolin has a scar on at least one of their fucking knuckles. The things are a fucking, a menace. But like the one I have, I actually have one. It's a KitchenAid one that's really cool. It's got like a hopper in the front. You put your vegetables in it and you smack the thing on the top and it moves the blades instead of moving the food, so you don't cut your fingers off, and you can set it to whatever thickness you want. But I use when I want thinly sliced things and I'm doing it in volume, that's what I use, because you get consistency, and I mean, like, I can do consistency with a knife. I've been doing it forever. But if you want consistency and you're not that great with a knife, that's a good way to do it, is to get yourself a little mandolin and or a food chopper, whatever you want to call it, and do it that way. So anyway, we're going to do 2 thinly sliced carrots, 1 thinly sliced medium red onion, 2 thinly sliced ribs of celery, 8 ounces of thinly sliced baby bella mushrooms, 2 tablespoons of thyme, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of fresh cracked peppercorn, 2 quarts of chicken stock, 1 pint of heavy cream, 2 cups of cooked wild rice. So if you're going to put the vegetables in the pan with about a tablespoon of oil, you're going to saute them till they just become tender. Lightly sweat the vegetables. Then you're going to add your chicken, your spices, your stock. You're going to bring it to a simmer. After you let it simmer for about 15 minutes, where it's starting to get good and steamy, you're going to fold in your cream, and you're going to let it simmer more, and you're going to let it reduce. You let it simmer, not boil, but get hot, and you'll see the steam coming off the top. That's the moisture leaving. That's reducing your stock. And you let it reduce by about half. So you're going to wind up with a little over a quart of soup. A quart and a half of soup, give or take. And then when it's reduced to about half, where it's a good thickness, you can obviously adjust this to your own personal tastes, but you reduce it to about, again, like I said, about half. You're going to have a little over 2.5 quarts between the vegetables, the meat, and the 2 quarts of stock plus the 1 pint of cream. You're going to reduce it down until you have about a quart of soup. So anyway, and then you're going to fold in your wild rice. That's why you want the pre-cooked rice. If you don't use cooked rice when you're making soup, you have to adjust your fluids accordingly, because the rice is going to absorb twice the volume of whatever you put in it out of the soup. So if you put a cup of rice in there, you're going to wind up with 3 cups of rice, 3 cups of cooked rice. You're going to need an extra, 2 cups of stock in there, because the rice is going to absorb it. And it's just, when it comes to, over my career and being a professional chef, you get a better texture. Like, when you get cream of rice soup, or any kind of rice soup, or any kind of pasta soup in a can, the starchy component of it's always really fucking mushy. That's what the difference with a lot of places. Like, if you go to a restaurant, you get chicken and rice soup. It's not like canned chicken and rice soup. It's because they incorporate the cooked rice after the soup is made, so it just heats up in the stock, and then it has more body, more bite, and it has better mouthfeel to it. So that's why we add cooked rice at the end, and then just bring it to temperature and then serve it, because then you still have the rice is still whole grains. It's much more mouthfeel, much better palate, it's much better. So that's the recipe for this week, is creamy chicken and wild rice soup. It's really good. I like it. It's simple. It's simple. It's tasty. It's good on, cold winter nights, but it's fucking July. So what can you do? And I'll just take one more last chance here to throw it to the chat. Anybody got anything else to say? Yeah, and I'll just go on record, so anybody that happens to listen to this will know JD does not actually care for chitlins. He just wanted to say chitlins. So, yeah, I understand completely. And like I said, I'm sure I've got a recipe somewhere, because I got enough Southern-ass family members that I'm sure somebody out there eats some nasty things, but I can't do it. They're fucking gross. Oh, hey, Devlin's in the chat. What's up, bud? Been a while. I know it's bad form to be drinking on the stream, but whatever. If it wasn't 7 o'clock, I'd probably be drinking an Echelon because, yeah, they're good. But also, I need to sleep tonight because I got to be into work early tomorrow. So, yeah, no more caffeine. It's after 5 o'clock. So, let's see. Let's see. Devlin says soup. JD says oatmeal. Cody likes cheese. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you're appreciating the mustache there, bud. Actually, I had it waxed earlier today, but I sweated it all out at work, so it's getting pretty. I was thinking about doing like kind of a Doc Holliday thing, but then I decided fat Doc Holliday is not the not the way to go. So I get the little chin scruff going now too, and yeah, that's. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm being corrected by everybody. Says drinking on stream is not bad. Okay, JD, I'm going based off of etiquette from back when I was actually considering doing this, and I'm watching like, hey, what are your pro tips on streaming and blah 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 blah. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's I mean, I think nowadays those fucking initial rules don't really apply anymore. People want reality. People want authenticity. People want to be entertained, which means I don't understand why the fuck you guys come here. But anyway, but yeah. So let's see what else. Cody says my mustache is better than his. I don't know if I'd buy that, buddy. I've seen your face fuzz. It's rather epic. Dev says I'm going more with the Wild Bill. Yeah, kind of. Also the lovely line of he's my Huckleberry, so that's good to know. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of I don't really have anything else percolating through my mind. Oh, just in a footnote, any of my listeners that happen to be into video games at all, I did pick up Sea of Thieves for PlayStation a few weeks ago, because it was on there having a big sale, and it's now cross-platform compliant. So I was actually able to get back into my old Sea of Thieves guild, and so I'm probably going to be playing that every now and then. If you guys want to, anybody ever wants to get on there and play with me and go raid some ships and shit, because that's one thing I've noticed playing solo. I've been getting people are obviously still playing the game because I've gotten my ship sank a couple of times by people that sank me and looted all my shit, and then taunted me as I died. But what can you do? I'll once I get better. I used to actually be when I first started playing that game a while back. I was actually pretty good at playing solo because I spent a lot of time doing it because I was home a lot because it was during COVID. And I got pretty good at playing solo where I could handle the ship by myself and still get into a fight, shooting cannons at people and then steering the ship and locking the rudder and going back and shooting at people more. But it really is more fun to play with friends. So if anybody ever wants to play with that, just let me know. Hop on the Discord server. Let me know that you're interested in, getting some time in there. There's a video game channel in there. I need to start plugging the Discord server more because nobody's really very active on there. And I feel like with, between my listeners and my friends, I feel like we should actually have a better community going on there. So if you're bored and you want something to do, go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com and click on the link to go to join the Discord, and then come on the Discord server and start talking. And maybe we can get some chatter going on there, and we can talk about stuff. We can talk about food. We can talk about politics. Talk about whatever we fucking want. I don't care as long as it's, not too asinine. I mean, just be civil to each other. That's all I really fucking ask. Yes, Cody goes on there sometime and suggests topics for me to cover. Unfortunately, as often as not lately, it's been stuff where I don't feel well versed enough to address the subject, and I really just don't have the fucking time right now to look into it where I would feel comfortable speaking about certain things without being more knowledgeable. A lot of when I'm doing the general ranty, here's what happened this week and here's what I'm pissed off about stuff, it's definitely more how I feel about things. It's more how I think about things. Whereas when somebody says, hey, I want to hear your thoughts on this, it's a case of well, you want me to have thoughts on this. I would like to be informed so they're not fucking retarded. And I just, like I said, I really haven't had any kind of time to do. I mean, you can notice that in the stuff I'm talking about. It's a lot of it's very, it's very reactive. It's very addressing things. It is what it is. But when it's about a specific topic, I feel like I want to bring something to the table other than just like, duh, I don't know much about this, but here's what I think, because I spend way too much time talking about shit about people who do that kind of stuff, who go off with their half-cocked, uninformed opinions and then look like utter fucking tool bags to be comfortable with the idea that I might be doing that myself. So when you do suggest a specific topic, I always appreciate it. And if I had more time, I'd be getting to them much more efficiently. But as it sits, I kind of don't. But I'd love to see more people on the Discord. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I got right now. Another couple of seconds there. Devlin says I reminded him of Seinfeld. Yeah, that's a good reference. We're living in a society. But yeah. Okay, well, I think I am probably going to stick a pin in it now. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Yeah, we're a little over an hour. It's been a good time. Thanks, guys. And I'll catch you on the next one, I guess. And for now, that's what I had to say.